Hi guys, yeah, that was a hard video to make. He was playing with his ball, my poor boy, and he screamed out in pain. I looked down and he was sat going, ah, screaming. And I noticed he couldn't move his legs straight away, so I was in the field, obviously where I'm living at the minute, and I was screaming, I was going, help, 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 just screaming out, and nobody was there. So I ran up to get the van and he was dragging himself up the field to try and get to me. And literally, I think I'm still traumatised. And the campsite owner came to the vet. I went to the nearest vet. He came with me. He's whining because he can't run around. I'll go in on him in a minute. So basically, can't afford an MRI, and even if I did an MRI, and if I had to have surgery, you're looking at a minimum of £7,000 for it. He still wants his ball. Minimum of £7,000, which I don't have, so I didn't bother doing the MRI. I'm doing conservative treatment, massaging his legs, doing the range of motion exercises, moving his legs around, stretching them. This last week or so he has started stretching his legs out, so I don't know if that is voluntary. I've done so much research. If it's involuntary, it means his brain isn't connecting with his feet. He has pain perception, but he does do the retracting of his legs, but he doesn't have a behavioural response, so that means it's not his brain registering the pain in his feet, his paws. It's his spine. The spine registers it. So it'd be 3 weeks on Friday. Literally, I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything those first few days. I just didn't want to be here, to be honest. It was just horrendous seeing him like that. And he's the most ball obsessed dog out of the three as well. He's my soul dog. So it broke my heart. Completely broken me, and I still can't find my sense of humour. It's just like, I'm eating, but he's up in the night because he don't drink really till bedtime, and then obviously he's incontinent, so he knows when he's weeing and toileting and stuff. And his tail does move up and down now when he's toileting, but and he can bear a little tiny bit of weight on his back legs. But anyway, I went to get a second opinion because the first vet wanted me to put him to sleep, basically think about his quality of life. But I've got him a stroller, and I'm going to get him some wheels, dog wheelchair. There's a charity who said they've got a wheelchair for me, but because I don't have a permanent address, I've got to find somewhere for it to be sent to, and then he'd be able to get up and walk around again. But obviously he's got to rest for how many weeks. The vet said just take it week by week. Anyway, so I took him to a different vet last week. She's lovely, down in Roche. I don't know what you call it. He's whining. He hasn't changed personality wise. And yeah, ready? And as soon as she realised that his leg retracted when she pinched his toes, she said go and get laser treatment to the other woman. So she got the laser machine. I had some goggles on, so they just do it's 2 minutes of laser treatment. It's like £36. He's got his next one on Friday. It just helps stimulate the nerves, nerve growth, because nerves grow about a tiny bit each month. I don't know if it's just an inch a month, or it's not very much anyway. And the new nerves can join up to other nerves, and it's like, they call it synapses, I think. And so he started dragging himself, and they say don't let them drag themselves, because the new nerves then it reinforces that movement when you want to reinforce the back leg movement, not the dragging movement. So back to the vet Friday. He's not really changed, nothing's changed this week. He does still stretch his legs out sometimes and moves his tail when he's going to the toilet, but nothing else has changed really. But I mean, he could end up, his pain perception, he hasn't really got pain perception. His leg does retract when I pinch his skin really hard. It sounds horrible, but that's how you get them to react. But he doesn't really respond. That's what we need. We need him to respond. And if he doesn't start responding in the next month or so, he probably never regain the use of his back legs. So some dogs do learn to spinal walk. The spine teaches the legs how to walk again. I'd really like to get him into hydro, and then they do all the leg movements in the water and everything. But for now, I'm just doing his leg stretches, range of motion exercises, massaging his back, massaging his thighs, tickling his toes, stretching his toes, doing all his joints. That's all I can do really. She said don't let him stand on his hind legs because he can hold his weight for, that wasn't me, that was the chair. He can stand on his hind legs for like a little bit, but she said no, don't, just let him rest. So, but I can feel his bottom of his spine now where he's losing muscle mass, and his thighs are, Freya, come in here please. Freya, his thighs are getting thinner. Come in here, come on in. Try and make a little den so they can't escape, but they escape out. I bought a beach tent and they escape out. Naughty. So here's Oscar looking all sorry for himself, but as you can see his legs are just, yeah, pretty dead. But sometimes when I do this, his other leg will stretch out, his toe moved in, his foot moved in, so he can stretch his legs, but I don't know if it's voluntary or just a reflex, so it could be spinal reflex. But they do say if the spinal reflexes return, it's a good sign. But I really need him to be able to feel his toes, that's the main thing. But I think with a spinal injury, it kind of, if the feeling is going to come back, it kind of works from the top down. But she reckons it's a disc injury, so he could have had a disc problem. There was one time where he did fall on the floor and whined, couldn't get up for a few seconds, and his tail went limp once as well, so I'm wondering if he already had a spinal disc condition, IVDD, I can't remember what something disc disease, introvert something, I can't remember, or a piece of cartilage can come off and press onto the spinal cord, so it restricts the blood flow, and obviously then no feeling. So, but yeah, I don't know, there's been no improvement this week, but last week he started stretching his legs, but this week he hasn't really, there's no new things this week at all, so I feel pretty depressed, to be honest. So, but yeah, I've reached out to a lot of people who've had the same thing and their dogs did recover. He's moved over there now, drags himself. It can take weeks, months, so I'm not giving up on him. I'm saying this charity are going to loan me a dog wheelchair, so at least he'll be able to, it'll be so much better because he'll be able to tire himself out. You know, he's just laying here on the grass all day, you know. Luckily we've had some beautiful weather. I mean, it's you know, it's gorgeous at the minute. So it's cold though, as you can see. But yeah, I've been putting him on the front seat in the van when we go out. I've started putting him back on the front seat rather than travelling the crate. He doesn't like that. He likes to see where he's going, so he sits up the front with me again now. But yeah, it's pretty shocking, and especially you're on your, I'm on my own doing it all, do you know what I mean? It's like lifting him, he's over 22 kilos, so lifting him in and out of his stroller, and then in and out the van, in and out the crate to bed, and out in the morning, you know, constantly having to clean him. Obviously I've got to do everything for him, you know. He can wee himself, but I've learned how to express him, so I'll stand him up and squeeze his bladder, and so I've learned lots and lots of new skills, which I didn't want to learn, but skills that I now have acquired through this horrible freak accident. And he's my best boy, he's my first dog, and yeah, it's pretty, Freya, it's a pretty rubbish situation. But at least it's not through the middle of the winter, I suppose, and you know, even if he does never walk again, he'll have his wheels. In a few weeks he'll be able to use his wheels, we'll be able to go on walks and get out by the beach, and you know, he can run around, chase his ball, and then he'd be tired, you know, and I just feel sorry for him. I mean, look, there you go. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But I wouldn't say he's depressed or anything. You know, if I thought he was really he's not in pain. If I thought he was suffering, I would have to make a decision, wouldn't I? But he's not suffering. He does cry when we go out in the stroller and the other dog's running around. He cries. It's just like he's made new noises that I've never heard him make before. It's just horrible. But I've got to be there for him. I've got to be strong. I'm eating. I'm not sleeping very well because he pees through the night in toilets, and it's like having a baby again. So Yeah. And I think the hardest thing is he doesn't understand, you know, I can't ask him what he's thinking, and yeah, it's just, he's beautiful, he's just looking at me. But anyway, that's the update. Can't think of anything else. That's it in a nutshell. In 10 minutes, that's basically what's going on. So it seems like he's got a pretty severe, yeah, it goes from level 1 to stage 1 to 5, and I thought he had a 5 because he's got no deep pain perception, but he does pull his leg back and he can stretch his legs. So I think he's a 4, between a 4 and a 5, and that's like a really slim. Even if he had an operation, it would be a slim chance that he'd walk again in that state he's in. And just him not being able to wag his tail at me is one of the hardest things. Like, he sees me in the morning and he looks all happy, but he can't wag his tail. It's just horrendous. It's horrible. But yeah, a couple of friends have checked in on me. One of my mates is back from Portugal. He came down for a couple of days last week. But other than that, nobody's come to see me. None of my family. Well, just like, my dad hasn't rung me for like over 2.5 weeks. A few days after his accident, and he knew I was in a hell of a state, and no ringing, no calling. So just feel really on my own, really on my own. This is the most that I've ever felt isolated in my life and alone. So it's horrible. Yeah, I'm just having a bad day today. Lack of sleep. And I just feel it's all hit me again today. And how much I've got to do all the time, you know. So Freya, she keeps walking off. Oh, she's fine, she's there. Yeah, having to do all this. I put all this awning and stuff up myself yesterday. Made us a little garden. There's Freya. And there's Bodhi. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll probably do some updates with him. I'm going to video his laser treatment on Friday, and just post that as well. So hopefully it'll start helping. Right, I better go and do him some exercises. And no, that's it now. Freya's very clingy. She doesn't like me talking to anyone, even if I'm just talking to myself on the camera. Yeah, give him some leg exercises now. But every time I go to stretch his legs, he starts cleaning himself. That's the other thing. He's like always licking himself constantly. So every time I try and do his leg stretches, he knocks his leg out of the way with his bloody head. So I can't do it. It's like, stop it! Let me just do your leg stretches. So yeah, there we go. But as she constantly wants to keep himself clean, which is. But let's just show you around. It's a beautiful evening, and I just feel like I've come to live this beautiful new life in the countryside, and I can't enjoy it now. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of put a big Debbie Downer on everything. I did go to the sea the other day. I think I posted a short. Yeah, so I'm still trying to do things I love to do. Looks like I've got a pole sticking out my head, like a Teletubby or something. So anyway, I'll catch you all later. I noticed I've got a few new subscribers. I got a lot of views on this. I'm not doing this for views. Obviously, I've got a YouTube channel and it's nice to have views, but if anyone wants to reach out, if their dogs had the same thing, anyone got any advice, or anyone wants any advice from me, I've been nearly 3 weeks into this now, so it's you got to stick together with people. I've joined a load of groups for paralysed dogs, and people are really positive. Dogs look really happy in their wheels, and you just never think something's going to happen to your dog or anyone, someone you love or whatever, but it does. It happens, and it can happen like it did in a millisecond. Literally, everything was beautiful. There's a beautiful day, and then my dog's paralysed the next minute. It's just how things can just change. It's changed the whole, the whole thing of coming down here and living a van life, and this has just added a massive, massive challenge to it. I'll do anything for him though. I'll do anything for him. Anyway, take it easy guys, and thank you for listening.